Hey guys, it's Katie, and today I'm going to show you how to make Fiesta Fringe earrings. I thought these would be perfect to show you all because they're festive, they're colorful, with Cinco de Mayo, and they have the textile element, which is very traditional. Let's go over the tools that you're going to need for this project. So tool-wise, you're going to need some of your classic basic tools: chain nose plier, flat nose plier, round nose plier. But then you're also going to need some specialty tools here, like a metal hole punch. This is a 1.8 millimeter, a thread cutter, or a really sharp pair of scissors. This is a nylon jaw plier made by Weber's, a 6-step bail making plier, or any kind of bail plier with a circle around that size. You're gonna need some sheet metal and some metal shears. This is 24 gauge copper, some thread. Some of this is nylon thread, some of it's polyester thread, but whatever you have will work. You need some wire. You need 20 gauge and 22 gauge. A piece of cardboard to make your tassel around. A flat file is good to have on hand. Something circular to make a little stencil on your sheet metal with a permanent marker. I used a nickel. And also you might want to have your hammer and bench block just to the side in case you need those. And I also like to have some scissors and just some tape. The thread that you pick is where you can customize this piece. You can see how the red, the pink, and the blue all blend together to make this really cool color. I also have an example of one with just plain gray thread, silver thread, and then I also have a pair in the back that was my first pair that I did with a thicker silk cord. First, let's cut out our metal circle that we're going to clamp our tassel with. So grab your sheet metal. I just love this copper. So you can tell I've already used a bunch in this one, but I chose a pretty flat piece so I could draw a circle on it. I'm gonna use my nickel, and a nickel is what I use to make this one. And you can see when I hold it over, it's gonna be a perfect match. So put your coin on your metal, and it's always good to work towards the edge of your sheet metal, so as you cut, it's easier to work with and it saves more of your material. So I'm gonna do a trace over here. Now grab your metal shears and we're gonna cut that out. You might want to wear safety goggles for this portion because when you're working with metal, it's a good idea. Open up your shears and just do small little cuts and just follow the shape of that circle. If you need to, you can also just kind of go ahead and cut it out of the sheet and go, so it makes it more manageable to work with. Okay, so I have my circle and it's pretty good. It's not perfect, but that is okay. And that's the kind of design I like, where it doesn't have to be completely exact. You can grab your flat file at this point and just kind of lightly go around the edges. Then grab your hole punch and punch a hole in the middle of this disc. I always eyeball this part, so just like this and squeeze. Perfect little circle. Now that we've cut our circle out of metal, we're gonna start making our tassel. So go ahead and grab your thread. I'm going to use blue, what did I use? Blue, red, pink, I might use 2 colors of blue because I'm worried that this one's going to run out. So we're just gonna see what happens. If it's not exact, it's okay. Gather all of your cord ends together, and I like to tape them to one side of my cardboard just because sometimes they get slippery. They're tiny, so this helps them stay together. And then you're going to wrap. And since I have already made the first earring, I know how many exactly times I need to wrap around, and I did 80 wraps for this one. If you want a more full tassel, you can wrap 100 or 200 times. It's just up to you. Okay, so I'm done wrapping my thread around my cardboard to make my tassel. And I'm going to take those tails that are left and just tape them down too. I find that this really does hold everything together a little bit better, but it's optional. Okay, so now you've got your tassel ready to be strung together. You're gonna wanna grab that little piece you made earlier with the sheet metal and grab your 22 gauge copper and cut about 6 inches with your cutter. Keep your thread cutters close by because you're gonna need them for this next part. Using the 22 gauge wire, slide it underneath your cords, all of them, and if you need to, you can bend your cardboard to make it easier. And bring it up to the top. Try to cinch those together up there above that, the top of the tassel, and then we're gonna cut these off of the board. So I've cut all those, and I'm gonna take my cardboard away. So cute, almost a tassel. Okay, and you still have the top held together with that 22 gauge wire. And just start kind of spreading it out like that. Kind of let it fan out. This one's gonna be really pretty. Once you have it kind of splayed out, set it down for a second. If you feel comfortable with that, hopefully you can keep it from moving around. Grab your little disc you cut. You're gonna want to almost make like a taco shape with it. And the way I did it was I used the end of my flat file, but you could also use a chain nose plier if you have one that's pretty small. Keep in mind that hole is gonna be facing up, so that's where you want the bend to go on either side. And okay, so now I have my little taco shape. It's okay if it's not perfectly even. This side I can tell is a little bit shorter than this side, but we can fix that in a little while. Slide both of those wires through the hole and pull it down over your little tassel. And hold your wires in this hand and kind of just push down. You want it to make sure it's really on there. Okay, so now start splaying out those strands again and kind of start folding in that copper over tassel just a little bit more. Start to squeeze it a little bit more, and you're just gonna kind of work it down. So here's a good place to, with your nylon jaw pliers, come in and really press on that. On both sides. And as you go along, just keep making sure that your cords are where you want them to be. So now we're gonna make a little loop at the top to connect to our ear wire. And with one of the tails, just do a small coil around the other. Trim that off with your cutters, and you're left with one tail. Now grab your round nose plier and grab just above that coil you made and bend away from you 90 degrees, and then reposition your round nose plier just beyond the bend and roll it back and bring that tail around. And you have the start of your loop. And if you've already made the first earring, make sure that your loops are gonna sit in the same place. So I'm gonna bring mine down a little bit. And then just coil that tail around. And trim it off. I like to take my flat nose plier and really make sure those edges are nice and tight on there. This can cause marring, so you don't have to do that if you don't want, but I found that if you take your little file and texturize it with it, it almost hides your mistakes. So if you want to do that, just lay down your little tassel and almost draw little hash marks into the metal. And it just makes everything, all your mistakes, look intentional, and it's pretty. You do cross hatching, anything like that. To trim this part of the tassel, I used 2 spools of wire that were the same size, and I sandwiched them in between. You could also use circles that you cut out of cardboard for this part, or anything flat that can sandwich this tassel. And you want it to be the same size as your first one, so keep that in mind. You might even want to lay it down to do this part. And you're just going to go around. And you can pick it up and really get close to it if you want to. So now take a look at your little tassel, and it is so cute and beautiful. Just kind of splay it out a little more with your hands. And then you can also do fine tuning once it's out of those circles. So now that we've trimmed up our tassel and everything is matched up, I'm going to show you how to make the ear wire using 20 gauge wire and a bail shaping plier. You're going to need a cutter. And of course, you're going to want to file the end of that before it goes in your ear. Cut about 7 inches of 20 gauge wire. And with your bail shaping plier, grip the very end with the smallest of the cylinders on this tool. Roll back the very end of the wire with the smallest bail. Till you have that little loop, and then make sure that's nice and straight. Here we're just going to make a little loop. We're going to hold this part with the plier and just fold it over. And trim that there. You can add a little bend to it if you like for your ear wires to have that bend. And make sure you file that off there. Also, this is a great time to mention you want to work hard in this with a chasing hammer or bench block to make sure that it doesn't lose its shape. But once you have this, you can open that loop with your pliers, slide on your earring, and just close it back up. And now you have a really cute pair of Fiesta Fringe earrings. Now that you've seen how to make the Fiesta Fringe earrings, let's take one more look at the tools you're gonna need. Round nose plier, flat nose plier, chain nose plier, and cutter. The nylon jaw wire straightening plier, a thread cutter, a bail shaping plier, a metal shear, a flat file, a hole punch, thread, 20 and 22 gauge copper wire, sheet metal, this is 24 gauge copper, something round to draw a stencil with a permanent marker, a piece of cardboard to make your tassel, and some tape, permanent marker. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I had to put the earrings on, they're just so cute. Don't you love them? So what would you make for your Cinco de Mayo jewelry? Please leave your comments below. And also, if you want to pick up any of these tools, look at the description below the video. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. So now that you know how to make the Fiesta Fringe earrings, you can say, I made this.